Hi everyone, Mike here with part 2 of 3 of my painting series for Ghazghkull Thraka. I've assembled as many of the pieces as I could before it looked like it was going to be too hard to paint. The backpack and the arms are complete, as well as the legs, except for a couple claws in each foot. In this video, I'll only be painting the face. The rest of the model won't get nearly as much attention, but where the face is the main focal point, I wanted that to look good. After assembling all my pieces, as you see here, I attached them all to either bottle caps or sticks, and then I primed them all in black. The first color I'm starting with is Deathworld Forest for the skin. I'm covering the entire face with 2 thin coats of this. I didn't realize at first that the top of the head was metal and covered that too, so don't feel like that's necessary. Next, I'm giving all the teeth a base coat with Steel Legion Drab. This is going to help a lot when we paint these a bone color later. Next, I'm painting the inside of the mouth, the lips, and the gums. I've created a 50-50 mix of Idrian Flesh and Screamer Pink. If you don't have Idrian Flesh, then any darker flesh color will work. Next, I'm going to highlight all the same areas that were just painted. I'm taking a lighter skin tone and mixing it into this one. When it comes to skin tones, I recommend sticking to one company for all of them. Otherwise, your highlights are going to look a little off. So with this color, I'm painting the raised bumps on the gums and the lower lip, as well as the 2 sides of the tongue. Next, I'm going to paint the metal cap on the head, and I'll be mixing roughly equal parts of these 3 colors. I started off with just the gunmetal and the Dark Reaper, but that was way too light for my liking. Here's how it's looking so far. Next, I'm going to paint the eye using Mephiston Red. The teeth are ready for the next layer of paint. I'm going to do 1 or 2 coats with Karak Stone. There's a little device on the side of Thraka's head, and I'm painting that with Balthazar Gold. On the top of the head, there are what look like cables or something attached to the metal cap. I'm painting these with Corn Red. For the last of the base colors, I'm just painting these stitches with the same metal color that I used for the metal cap. Next, I'm going to apply some washes. I'm starting off with Nuln Oil Gloss, and this is going over the entire cap, including the cables on the top of the head and the red eye. Now I'm using the Athonian Camoshade over all of the skin, and I'm doing my best here to avoid the lips and gums. And finally, just some Reikland Fleshshade all over the inside of the mouth and gums, and it doesn't matter if this gets on the teeth. And here's our handsome orc ready for some highlights. Next, I'm putting a small dab of color into the center of the red eye using some Wild Rider Red. For the skin, I'll be using 2 highlight colors. The first is a 50-50 mix of Deathworld Forest and Ogryn Camo. I'm using this color to trace all the lines of the face and to highlight areas like the ears, the brow, and the upper lip. Once that's done, I'm using pure Ogryn Camo just to pick out a few key features, mostly on the front of the face. So a little more on the cheekbone and the lips, as well as the top of the ear and the nose. Next I'm doing the teeth, and I just want a tiny amount of thin paint on my brush for this. I'm painting all of the teeth, and my brush strokes are all moving away from the gums. The last thing to do for the face is the lens. You could paint it a solid bright color, but I'm going to go for a reflective lens effect. The first thing to do for this is to completely cover the lens with black. Now it's just a matter of making a bunch of crescent shapes, going from the darkest color to the lightest. I'm going to start with some thin Xereus Purple, and this crescent is big. I'm just leaving a patch on the top left of the lens black. I'll be adding 2 to 3 layers of each color, and as I do, the crescent gets smaller each time. Now I'm switching to Genestealer Purple, and my crescent is only about the bottom quarter or so of the lens. Next I'm using 50/50 white in Genestealer, and I'm making a thin line along the bottom right, followed by a small dab of pure white. And finally I'm doing a small dab of white in the center of the black on the top left. The last thing I'm doing is just some simple edge highlights with pure gunmetal. Thank you to everyone who supports this channel on Patreon, and a special thanks to Brian Jones. In the final Ghazghkull video, I'll be painting everything that's left and attaching it to the base. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching.